All right, all right. Happy Monday and happy Monday and happy Monday and welcome to Crystal XO's review on King's Court. This episode is titled King's Counsel. King's Counsel. Hey, Linnell. Hey, Jay the Baker. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys come on in. You guys know, as every week, this show gives us a lot to talk about. And this week, will not be any different. Hello again, my love, Haitian Empress. First of all, I want to say that I want to start before we talk about this episode. I want to talk about the episode before. If you guys noticed, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you probably got a notification of a quick little interview I did with Steph, who was sent home the week prior from dating pool or King's pool or something like that. She was sent home from that episode, and I had a chance to sit down and talk to her. I think that interview will probably go live tomorrow. So make sure that you tuned in for that. The interview was interesting, but on the snippet that I released that's on my YouTube and also on my YouTube and also my Instagram page, I asked her, who would she friend, foe, or fiance out of, I feel you. And we would definitely address that because you're not the only person that says that, Haitian Empress, that we need to talk a little bit more about, Ready to Love. We will definitely address that because I feel like we got a doozy coming up this week. But yeah, foe, fiance, or friend. And the interesting thing is when we were talking about the guys, her opinion on all of them, I was very surprised to hear how she fixed the answer. So she said that, thank you, Lakeisha. She said that she would fiance Tyson Beckford and that she would friend Carlos, who ironically it said she was more like the homie, and then that she would foe Titus. But she did explain. She said, first of all, she told me that she was not attracted to bald men, first of all. So that was interesting. All the men were bald. All the men were bald. So coming into the show, she was, she's 38, but I feel like she kind of reads a little bit younger and kind of probably has more of a younger, thank you. Hey, Cherry Redhead Poppin'. But she was attracted to Tyson. She's a model and a lot of different things. She has a hairline called XO, XO virgin hair. And she also, she's in her late 30s and she has 3 children. I did not know that. I was not expecting that. If you guys notice, Sugar Pie and her daughter are hanging out today. Hi, Paisley. Hello, Paisley. So yeah, 37 or 38, but definitely not in her 20s. She definitely looks really good. She has 3 children. I think she has like a teenage. She definitely has a teenager, but she said that she would fiance Tyson because he was so good looking. Then she said that Titus, he looked like her uncle, which I can see that. He's attractive, but he definitely gives, older vibes. And then she said Carlos, they kind of were from the same area. I would say tune in for the interview. I don't want to give away a spoiler, but I want to talk about it. We'll talk about it, after the interview. We'll definitely talk about it. So she said that she had a lot of experiences with Tyson in the house that were not shown, that she wished was shown on television. She said that Tyson was a lot of fun in the house, that they had some times, dancing, and she wished that those things had been shown, her having fun with Tyson and playing around and him, being more in, I guess just more playful, that we don't really see because she is, like he said, Sugar Pie looks like she is tired of being a stay-at-home mom. She wants to go back abroad. Sugar Pie is counting the days when she gets back into her travel bag. You hear me? going to Italy has spoiled my girl. And this life is nothing like the one she was she was experiencing in Italy. But she said that there was a lot more that we didn't see. I did ask her opinion on the dry erase board, and she said that Tyson would put people's names down, and she went ahead and stayed. I don't want to tell you guys too much. So I want you to watch the interview, and then we can reconvene, on next Monday and talk a little bit more about it. But I was definitely surprised at some of the things that she said. And I also think, and this is what I want to ask you guys before we get into tonight's episode. I think that their generation, so I would say like millennials, right? Because she qualifies as a millennial. They really look at dating in a much different way than past generations have. And I don't know I think television and dating and the opportunity to use your love life to be to get clout and to get publicity is a lot different than it was before. So, because I'm like, were you really? She said she saw the advertisement and it was like, are you looking for love? And she had come out of a bad relationship, and so she didn't know who it was, but she feels like she's able to. You know what? Y'all ain't go. Don't come from a sugar pie, okay? We know who the daddy is. We saw them leave together, but she is very tall. She's very tall. She's tall. Paisley is tall. But anyway, so I just was I don't know. That's weird because I would think, for me, this is just me, I would have thought if I'm 38 years old and I have 3 children, even if I do have a hair care line that services, all these celebrities, my focus probably would not have been on trying to find a celebrity today. But I also think I'm not that generation, and they are aspirational at best. Like, they're trying to make the most of their, maybe I could meet this guy. Not our generation. You just wanted to meet someone that was attractive and, you guys could have a good life together. They're like, I will meet a superstar, and I'm going to live this amazingly fabulous life. So, her crush now and who she wants to meet, and she wanted him to see this post, was Michael B. Jordan. So I hope that she gets her chance with him. But in any case, when she told me that she wasn't attracted to bald men, I was like, that probably wasn't the show for her, And I also think there's probably other girls on that show that are not necessarily into the guys like that, but it's also just a great opportunity, right? It's a good opportunity, and to have all of that. So y'all are not gonna make Sugar Pie look like she is a random, okay? She knows she does not need a test. She knows who her baby daddy is. You know what? Next week I'm gonna bring Wednesday, because we got Wednesday. I'm gonna bring a picture of the dad so you guys can see, okay? Because actually Paisley looks like her daddy. She don't look like her mama. She look like her daddy. But in any case, back to the show. So I just wanted to say that I want you guys to tune in to the interview with Steph, and then let's talk about what your thoughts are after that. She's a very beautiful girl, very pleasant. But it's just weird, and I don't think it's her. I think it's just a generational. We did not grow up thinking, well, I'm going to meet my guy on TV, or, I'm going to date someone who is, being chased by the world. Like, that was never, it's bad enough with a man that is, got people around the zip code looking at him, much less, he's a blockbuster movie star. Like, that's wild. That sounds like a hard life, to me. But in any case, yes, watch that. Let me know what you thought. And let's get into tonight's episode that was titled King's Council. King's Council, of course, here are our fellas. We got Tyson here, Carlos, and Titus. I really don't like this beard. And yeah, that is all I have to say about that. So we got a chance to meet Tyson's best friend. or his bestie, as he called it. Don't come on, Tammy, hold on. We gotta talk through this as a family. We gotta talk through Thaddeus as family. Carlos brought his brother, which I thought was cool. His brother reminds me of one of my friends. And Thaddeus, aka Titus, brought his friend and his ex. Now, what was interesting about that is that when we first saw, I felt, whenever you hear this is my best friend and it's a girl, the funny thing was he was in his confessionals. He said that the woman helped him raise his children when he was body slamming people and moving around in the WWE. So I thought that was strange because I was like, a woman that helps you raise your children that's not your family member. I kind of started having suspicions that she was an ex. And then when he sat down with Dr. Kalia, she confirmed that she asked the question and he confirmed that indeed this was his ex. Now, the ex, I will say this about Titus. He obviously likes Black women, and we appreciate that. He absolutely likes and appreciates Black women. So I do believe that he really is truly attracted to Kalia. Here she is, the pediatrician. And his ex just looked like, a natural Black woman. She had braids. She didn't have a lot of makeup on. She just looked like a regular, beautiful Black woman. But the fact that he brought her was interesting to me. It definitely set a tone for, this is something that's going to be part of my life and I'm not changing it. So either you get with it or don't, right? It was definitely, Lakeisha said this episode was good, and Delulu. It was definitely Delulu for a number of reasons. So we see this woman, she's sitting there and she says they're best friends. They tried it. They were actually engaged at one point and it didn't work out. Then we learned that she does not actually have children with Titus. She took care of Titus's children. I guess when they were together, she got close to his children. And then when they separated, even though they were no longer in a romantic relationship, she continued to be there for his children. Does ring the question is, where was they mama? And I think that's one of the big things about, thank God that cup has been removed from me. My children are grown. But when you date someone and your children get close to that person and then you're no longer with them and you're with someone else, like, what does that relationship look like with the children? And this woman continued to be a mother to the children after they were no longer there. Now, I'm not stupid. We're not naive. I'm 100% sure that Thaddeus made her contributions financially lucrative, right? Especially because he mentioned that she did that while he was traveling the world. So he probably appreciated her. I know another celebrity that his children were raised by a family member because he was traveling all the time and the children's mother was not responsible parent, right? So I'm familiar with that happening. And I think, if you have a better, safer, more healthier environment, whoever has the healthier environment is where the kids should be when there's a breakup. So it could have been that when his kids would come spend time with him, then she would be the one that would provide that stability because he would have to travel. So it could be that the mother was there, but whenever his time came, there are a lot of people that when their time comes to take care of their children, they have someone else doing the heavy lifting for them. And because his job required him to be on the road all the time, I can see that. I learned from hanging out with I went to some of the WWE fights with a client and got a chance to meet some of the guys. I never met Carlos, but I met some of the other guys. They go all the way all the way year round. They go like they don't have like a season. Like, football has a season and basketball has a season. Hey, no, there's not a season for wrestling. They kind of, it's actually the most lucrative sport, honestly, because it goes all the way year round. Sugar Pie, you want to say hi? So it goes year round. Now Paisley wants to say hi as well. You guys say hello to this. She has been a single mother that has her daughter done ate her collar. Like, look at that. This collar is from Italy. You guys see this? This collar is from Italy. It was $85, and the baby has eaten the collar. Oh, Paisley, we don't. No. We don't want you up here. It's not room for both of y'all. So anyway, Paisley. So anyway, it could have been that the mother was doing her job, but when she would send the kids to spend time with Carlos, then he would have his ex taking care of them. But I mean, people do make those type of arrangements when they have jobs that require them to be in the public eye. We can't throw salt on that. What I will say is it's strange that he brought her to this show, but I also think, hey, you there? So this dog business is all ghetto. Don't do that, okay? Sugar Pie lives here. She can be here, can't you? Say, I can be here because this is my home. This is not ghetto. Now, who is out of control is this child. She should have had a family, but none of y'all wanted to take Paisley. So anyway, I didn't think it was kind of strange for him to bring her, but hey, he might have been at the point where this is something that he's not willing to compromise on. And so he wanted to get it out the way. Regardless, it definitely caused some controversy. Dr. Kalia was definitely thrown off, and she definitely has a poker face. But that's the thing, like, men are funny because Thaddeus is one of the few men that we know that appreciate strong, accomplished women. And I just really appreciate that because so very few men appreciate that. So many men would rather a woman has nothing and just is all, about him. But he actually appreciates women that are accomplished and have a brain. And that's very attractive. But when you do find a woman that has a brain, is accomplished, and is a pediatrician and went to Cornell, then she has a poker face because she can't just act a fool. She can't just do that. She has to hold her composure. And what if she, showed she was angry and had a bad attitude on this show? That could affect her bedside manner. I mean, that's a pediatrician is a really serious job. And also, people don't want to send their children to the doctor with people that are unhinged. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if she did something crazy on this show, that would definitely affect her practice. So the fact that he wanted to see her real emotions is kind of weird to me. Like, you got to know that she's not going to want to show you her real feelings on camera because that could affect her. Doctors do act a fool. Trust me, I have a couple of friends that are doctors, and Dr. Heavenly is in a class of her own, and she's actually running for state representative as well. But that is not the point. The point is, if this woman is on a dating show and she wants to retain her professionalism, then she has to handle herself very carefully. And he was a little bit taken aback by the fact that she didn't voice how she really felt. She also might have needed time to process that. That's a lot, that happened there. We'll get into her conversation because I feel like there was a little delusion, but we'll get into that in just a second. Tyson's best friend, aka his bestie, seems just as much of a playboy as Get Down. She is so tall. She is taller than Sugar Pie. Get down now. You don't have to get out. He seems like he's the life of the party, just like Tyson. They definitely seem like a perfect match. Tyson really, I think this episode we got a chance to see that Tyson does have a real connection with Felicia. I think they are a perfect match. I think that how she presents, number one, she has no problem with stating that she really wants Tyson and being very open about that. I think that plays to his ego. I also think that she is, she's got natural hair. She's very pretty. I think that's also something that, that appeals to him. And I think that she just comes off as like, this is my man, this is my man, my man, my man. I'm going to go after him. I don't care what anybody says. I think Tyson likes that. And so I think that he has probably the biggest connection in the house with Felicia, and then also Jennifer. Now, don't forget about Jennifer, because Jennifer is, can I just say that I like Jennifer this season. I do agree with you, Cherry Redhead Poppin'. It is a sexual connection with them, but don't ever underestimate the power of a sexual connection for a short term. I'm not saying that it will last forever, a sexual connection, but what I will say is when you're on a reality show and there's a strong sexual connection, that can be enough to get everybody else kicked off, because this is out here for a short time, not a long time. This is not about real connections. This is about what is fun in the moment and all that. Like, that's not what Tyson is not looking for. A wife here. He's looking for somebody to have fun with. You see the way he was rubbing all on that girl. Like, I think for this situation, for Tyson, a sexual connection could be a kicker. Now, he does also like our girl Jennifer. And I put today that I think that it's interesting that everybody else is on King's Court, right? Jennifer has turned this into Queen's Court. Jennifer is actually enjoying the fact that Carlos and Tyson are fighting over her. She likes it. She wants to keep them both engaged. I love it. She went over there and she's really having some issues. The competitive side of her wants to get rid of Janae, and Janae is falling into it. Before we say Jennifer is an airhead, I think she comes off like that, but I think she's actually a lot more calculating than she shows, because she's laughing and giggling, but she's also really trying to make sure both these guys stay connected and stay locked in on her, as opposed to picking one. Because I was like, well, maybe she's going to just pick Tyson, because I think she was very physically attracted to Tyson, but she also wants Carlos. And I don't think that she really likes Carlos like that. I think it's just because she doesn't like the fact that Janae is, he seems to already have everything wrapped up with Janae. I think she doesn't like that. I think the competitive nature in her is coming out, and she wants to prove that. I mean, it'd probably be no bigger compliment for both men to choose you at the very end. And I think she came in knowing that was a possibility. So do I think that she really, really really likes Carlos? No. And I agree with Queen Bean. Carlos is delusional to think that Jennifer really wants him. Because they don't even match. Like, she actually would make a better match with his brother. Yes, Lakeisha, that was in my notes as well. It is funny that I said that she has taken the King's Court and made it all about her. Turned it into Jennifer's Queen's Court. She compared Tyson to a juicy burger with fries and like all the stuff. And then, so she said Tyson is like a juicy burger. And then she said that Carlos was like a green salad with salmon. And for me, somebody that I try to do the right thing when it comes to foods a lot more now than I used to. But when I go to a restaurant, I always think, Christal, you need to get that salad. And I like to add a little protein, so I need to get the salad with salmon. But then you look at the other, and I don't necessarily like a burger, but you look at something with red meat that tastes that is just gonna give you all your taste, but all the thrills. And that is crazy. That is crazy that she compared them, but it definitely lets you know that just like Tyson said that Allison would be like the smart, could be a good choice for him because he likes the fact that she has talent, which I don't believe Tyson at all when he says that. I don't believe that he likes Allison at all. Allison's, we'll get into the talent in just a minute, but yeah, you want that. I do want the steak. I do want the steak. I do want the steak. And I sometimes will force myself to get the green salad, but at the end of the day, you really do want the steak. So anyway, that was very telling about how she sees them. And I don't think that Carlos is bright enough to understand that he's the salad to her. He thinks that he's cool. He's been that dude for a long time. And when it comes to up against Tyson, because one of the things that Steph saying that Carlos, was a friend and Thaddeus looked like her uncle. I was like, some of them girls probably feel like both of them look like their uncles. And Tyson looks a lot younger, even though Tyson is almost 10 years older than them. At least Carlos, he's definitely a few years older than Thaddeus also, but he looks younger than both of them. I don't know if it's his genes or what, if it's the way he knows how to take care of his guy. I don't know what it is, but he looks younger than both of them, even though he's much older than them. Yes, all of them is unks. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, early 40s, 48, and then 54, they're definitely all qualify as uncles. And a lot of the girls there were not. Now, last week I said I was irritated with the show because why do they have all these brown-skinned girls around and they know nobody wants them? And so tonight they did get rid of who we knew was going. I think Nima. I can't remember her name. Nima. She's a pretty girl, but she was Nigerian, and nobody was checking for her. And then also Denitra, who was like the bodybuilder, one of the bodybuilders, because Ariel is also a bodybuilder. They came out in the talent section with their muscles on display. But I knew she was leaving. Now they tried to make it seem like she was leaving because she wanted to have children and Thaddeus didn't. First of all, she said that she wanted to have children, and he's been very clear. We remember the conversation that he had with the conversation that he had with our girl Tari that was on last week, where he said that he had a vasectomy because he didn't want to just bring children into the world. Also, taking into consideration that he didn't want to create more broken homes, and because he obviously has limited time with children because we see that he had a surrogate taking care of his kids and his best friend. So I respect that. I respect the fact that he didn't want to keep making children and just leave them, with someone else. That I can respect that. But that girl knew that she didn't want kids. She just wanted to stay on the show longer. So when she changed up her thoughts and said, well, that may be something I'm willing to kiss. Girl, and he didn't care anyway because he didn't envy you. He just, you are not. Thaddeus needs a woman who is a real alpha female, smart, progressive, career driven. He likes that. That is not what he was looking for. She was just all muscles and we didn't see anything else of her. Now with Demi, if you guys remember, the conversation that she had when she went over to, and she's very, very beautiful. She went to talk to Thaddeus and his ex and his friend. And they asked her a very simple question. It would appear, what do you like about Thaddeus? And she said, I like how he looks at me. And then she said, I've been blessed. So I was like, girl, now I'm believing that she said something else. Yeah, she was just one of the faceless brown skin girls that was in the house for no reason. But that was what she said. They said, well, can you elaborate on that? And then she said that she had been blessed. So I don't know if she's talking about how beautiful she is or what, but if the reason that you like somebody is because they like you, and if that's true, don't say it. Don't admit it. I guess she was going home. I mean, she was going to go home anyway. Let's just be clear. She was going to go home anyway. She could have said the best answer. She could have. It just wasn't going to. It wasn't going to be for her. This show was not for her. This show is definitely only for certain types of women, and we've talked about that. We all know what that is. So it was not for her. But her answer was stupid. And she got a chance to, that was really the first time we saw her on camera, aside from the first time she was brought in. But even then, she just kind of like faded into the background, even when she came in for the first time. So she ended up going home along with Denitra, and she, it just wasn't. She never had a chance. I think she's strong, but I think it just didn't. She's built, but Thaddeus wants you to be built, a little bit sexy, and extremely smart, and that's a lot. So he has a very niche selection of women that could work with him. Also, I think Tyson has a very small niche, and also Carlos. So most of the women on the show are not going to be a fit for any of them. Let's talk about Allison and the talent show. Okay. Allison and where is Allison? Here she is. Allison felt like her moment to get Tyson's attention because he does keep talking about the fact that she is an opera singer. First of all, I think that's for TV. I think Tyson knows how to entertain. And so I think he knows that you got an opera singer, have her sing. Like he doesn't seem like a bad person. He just feels like one that is superficial and knows what is going to work. He's not interested in this woman. He cannot make me believe that he's really interested in her. But she decides that she's going to try to, wow him with her voice. And she looked cute in her red dress, but she just, again, looked out of place. She just looks too mature for any of the guys on the show. And I did see Catherine again. I stand by what I said. People may think I'm wrong, but I just don't think that, I don't think any woman who's 45 is pushing it, but 43 and down, maybe really 40 is really what the cutoff should be. Because these guys don't want older women, they want younger women. I don't think that you should be on a show like this because it's not going to go in your favor. The very qualities and qualifications that they're looking for in a woman are going to be in a much younger woman. It just is. And that's no shade to us, but we also are wise, and so we know we know go where you're appreciated, right? So this is not that. This is not that. These are men that are very driven by their superficial, motives. And even though Thaddeus does like real women, exactly, Tammy, you don't want to compete with someone you could have given birth to. That's silly. That's silly. I'm gonna tell my daughter to go in, and maybe my way of finding love is not on a reality show. Maybe it's really just to be a good woman and hope that attracts a good man. But at 50 years old, if you're going on a reality show, you have aged past the audience that you appeal to. And that's not bad. That's just real. You know what I mean? I think, yes, Thaddeus is the only one that wants a grown woman. But even still, he likes a lot of the accoutrements that come with a woman that will be arm candy or a trophy piece, right? And so I do think that Kalia could potentially be it. But I think what she did tonight is going to stop her in her tracks. I really want to talk to Dr. Shawana. I'm working on that, guys. But first we're going to listen to Steph, and then I'm trying to get Dr. Shawana. She's here in Atlanta as well. This is the thing, and I have this book. For those of you that don't know, I have this book here, Dear Alpha Female. It's not him, it's you. And I think that sometimes when women are pursuing career, I think we get so caught up in pursuing career that you don't know how to interact and relate to men, right? Because it becomes very much achievements driven. So Dr. Kalia is, not only is she a pediatrician, but she is one that attended Cornell University, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Kudos to her. But in that, I mean, none of us are good at everything. None of us are good at everything. We have strong points and weak points. And if you want a person and you don't want any weak points, then you don't want a real relationship, right? Because everybody has strong points and weak points. Yes, Cornell and Stanford. So she's like on another level. And it's not just about going to school at those schools. It's the environment that she was in. It's what she had to become, in order to excel there. So dating was probably not a priority for her until as of late, if even that, So her interaction with Thaddeus after the meeting of his friend and ex was very strange to some, not to me because I've been around a lot of women like this. And so I understand when you are used to like achieving things and you want to, mm, you believe in the power of um, the secret and, manifestation and all of that. Like, sometimes you can take it a little too far, and it is of my opinion that when she told Thaddeus that after meeting his friend and his ex and looking at her vision board where she had a picture with and the Walmart girls went, they do and do. I just heard a thing today on social media where this guy was saying, a man is a millionaire, he'll marry a waitress. And we know that. We already know that, right? I know that men like to keep telling us that. But I don't know, what does that mean? So would that mean that you should just not try to achieve anything in life besides have a man? Because to me, it's what a lot of them are suggesting that, well, I don't care about your degrees, but that's already starting with the negative point. Because if you're starting the conversation by saying, I don't care about that, that's hard to achieve. It's like if we told a man that worked out in the gym all the time and had a great body, well, I don't care that you have a good body. Well, damn, like I just met you and you're already telling me that something that I've worked very hard for, you don't care about. That's just starting on a negative. It's starting on a negative foot, right? We're getting off in a negative place. And I don't think very many men that I've dated some guys that spend a lot of times working on their bodies. If you told a man that, he would not want to date you. If you just told him when you first meet him or you're constantly, I don't care about the fact that you have a nice body. I don't care. I care nothing about the fact that you lift weights and the fact that you take that's crazy, right? So I understand they're saying they don't care about that, but it's not necessary. Like, why don't you just get to know a person? And I think sometimes it is, you don't like the fact that she didn't just sit and wait on you and you have to actually but that doesn't mean that there's no value in that person. Like, it's a ridiculous conversation that we keep having as a Black community. And I guess the answer is just, if you are a man that despises career advancement in women, then just, date women that aren't doing much. But then when you do that, you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to be taking care of them, right? And they may not all. This is the other part of that. Not all women who are not career driven are great homemakers and great wives. You could find a woman who doesn't have a degree and doesn't have an advanced career, and she just sits on her butt and waits for you to provide, or date men. But then they're not gonna like that because other men are gonna be more progressive. But yeah, I just think that's crazy, and I that's why I really love the fact that Titus is one of those few men that does appreciate successful women, because that says that he's very secure in himself, and that I don't have to say that that's what makes you, but I do appreciate the fact that you wanted to do something and waiting for me. I mean, I remember a friend of mine telling me, she said, the way that you go after your job is the way that I go after men. And she said, you're looking for 1-9, I'm looking for 3-3s. Yeah. And that was true. I did not purposely chase men, and she did, but guess what? The 3-3s, that's expensive. He got to give you one bill, he got to give you another bill. And I was like, I get somebody else to do it. I just write a bio and and pay my bills like that. Just do something else, because that's a lot of energy. And then I don't know, that same friend ended up getting choked out by a 71-year-old man that was married that she was having an affair with. And she was like, 71-year-old men are strong. Yeah, they are. They are. I told you I don't fight men. Tammy, this is a good point. Then what are we to do once we meet a man? Say, put in our parents' house for a man to come and get us. I would love for a man to answer that, and because I really don't know the answer to that. But what I do know is that if you can't have someone that you guys work together and you find the good things in each other, then probably just not worth it, right? Because if someone is automatically telling you things they don't like about you just because of what you've achieved, that's not going to be someone that's supportive. They're not going to be supportive to you. And so I don't think Titus is like that. However, what I was starting to say is a lot of times women, when they have gotten used to achieving things, they kind of get a little off. DC says, I'm going to be honest, the doctor scared me a bit. And she scared me a bit. I thought it was a bit delusional. So they go into workout afterwards, and Dr. Kalia says that she looked at her old vision board from years ago, and she saw the Obamas on there. And she said to herself, she saw the fact that she wanted a partner that was very successful and all these things. And she realized, she looked him in the eye, and he said, so what clarity does that give you? And she said that you're my husband. And then that, he just was like, his eye blinked. And you could tell he was scared. And I was scared for him. And I felt bad for her, because I do know friends like that. And I don't care. God is not going to tell you something about me that he has not told me, or that I can't, that was not right. But I will say this, in Dr. Kalia's defense, that probably works when it comes to her jobs. Like, she probably envisions that and says, oh, well, this position is mine. I'm going after this. So it probably is a technique that works for her when you're trying to achieve things, but not people. And you have to remember, the thing about Titus is, even though he wants a very accomplished woman, he's still a man. He still wants to lead. He still wants to be the one. So for you to say that you're my husband, you have taken away his ability to choose you, and you have chosen him. And he's going to choose Ariel, because she's more light. She's more girly. She's more leading with sexuality. And Dr. Kalia came off as a bit delusional and scary. And yeah, and then she was like, when she told him that she took pole dancing classes, that's another thing. I knew he got all excited, but I knew, because I have girlfriends that are very, very accomplished, and their way often of trying to appeal to a man is to be overtly sexual. That doesn't work, because then they will take, it will work because they will take the sex. Thank you. And I'll have some of that, but then they will keep moving. They will take it, but then they will keep moving. Yeah. Thaddeus wants to be pursued and be the head. How does that work? Yeah. I think he wants to be flirted with and made to feel, like he's a priority, but I think that he wants to lead. And I think that she scared the crap out of him, as well as most of the television audience yesterday night with that. And I wish she wouldn't have said it. I wish she would have just said, there's characteristics in you that are characteristics that I see in a man that could be my future. Something besides you're my husband, because you don't know that. You don't know that. Especially you're on a reality show. That sounds crazy. So I am pretty sure he put her in the bottom. Now, the interesting thing about Dr. Kalia is that Titus likes to play mind games. Have y'all noticed that? He did that with Dr. Shawana. He let her be at the end and said she was like a background singer, but he wanted her to fight to be in. He put her in positions to make them uncomfortable, to see how they react, because he said he wants to see everything. And when he put her in the bottom, she didn't show a reaction when he brought his ex, but when he put her in the bottom, she got pissed. And we see that next week, she kind of shows a little bit more of the crazy. He does use the elimination to test them, but I think he's always testing people, and I think most of the girls are just not on his level intellectually. So, that they don't fit. Did you guys remember? You guys remember in the beginning when he asked Felicia to take a picture of him, Tyson, and Sada, and I think Dr. Kalia and Carlos. And why would he do that, knowing that, I don't know why he would do that. I feel like he's just always pulling intellectual strings with people. And Felicia was like, no, I'm not taking that picture. She was unapologetic and she did not care. And Tyson ain't gonna hold that against her, so it's okay. Now, if she was dating Thaddeus, he might have held that against her, but Tyson ain't gonna hold that against her. As long as she let him rub on her booty while she's sitting on top of him and let him play in her natural hair, he ain't gonna care about that. But yeah, I think that he is intellectual. I mean, he has a school. I do think that Titus, I think he articulates very well. So I do think that he's intellectual. I do want to remind us that Titus, Thaddeus has gone, he was raised in a lot of trauma. So even though, and then he has become very successful. So I'm sure he's done a lot of work to get past that, but that's still the root. There's still some roots there. And even in how he responded to Tari asking that question about him having a vasectomy, I do think that he still, there's no way that him being raised by a mother that was, experienced SA to conceive him did not leave any scars. It's just not possible. But I think, again, like I said, we all have flaws. So everyone has something in their past that is going to cause whoever they're with to realize that either they were hurt. That's just how all the blueprints of our lives are a sum total of what we've gone through, right? I think that he has done the best that he can with his circumstances, because I do think he is highly emotional. He's very intelligent and very highly emotional. He has a lot of emotional intelligence, but I also think, he's still a man. Like, we're always still on that road to growth. So there's some stuff in there that some women may not want to deal with, but he definitely plays games with people. And I think, but I also think, like, on a show like that, how would you figure out who was who? And the fact that he likes women that are accomplished and have something to give back to the world is commendable. But how does he know that those women are not just using this opportunity as a way to heighten their profile? I don't know, but he does play mind games a lot with them. And I think, see, Dr. Shawana handled it right. She was like, I'm not here for that. If that's what you want, I'm good. I'm not going to be fighting for your attention. I got a sneaky suspicion that Dr. Kalia is about to go off the hinge. That polished exterior, I think that he pushed the right button and has gotten past that. And we're going to see that in next week's episode. I also want to talk about Sada, because this is, I just, I want to be very clear about how I feel about this, because this is my channel and I can say it. So Sada is 37 and she's, is she Panamanian? Was she Persian? And, Tyson is very attracted to her, of course. But did you guys notice when she was going on the trip, she let it be known that she wore the tightest dress that she had in her closet. And it looked ultimately ridiculous because they're at a wine, at a vineyard, and she's in this dress that it's like a freakum dress. She can barely walk. Marriott is very classy. I like that. Very, very classy, Marriott. And I agree. But she said, I wore the tightest dress that I had in my closet. And I get that everybody, as women, you often want to put your attractiveness forward to the forefront, because we know that men are visual. But that is how she is trying to compete with the other women, is through her looks. And I just want to point out that people like this always assume that they have the leg up on people, other people. They always assume that when it's a room full of women of color, that they have the leg up because of their their background. And a lot of times black men promote that 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 narrative. Not all of them, but some of them do. And Motown investor, don't do that. But I think that by her saying that she put on the tightest dress that she could, and then she was like, "Oh my God, I'm glad the mother was here." It just showed that that's what she's banking on. She's banking on the fact that she's so much more attractive to those men than other women in the room. And Tyson is, because you're vying for Tyson, then you don't really have, that will be the one thing that is required is the looks, because that's all he's looking for. He's not really looking for much else. And Sada is not bringing anything else. There's nothing else besides, I like him, he should like me, and that's it. Now, who's going to give her a run for her money is Felicia, because Felicia is a lot prettier, in my opinion. And Tyson is very smitten with her beauty, but I think I don't know, it's something strange about black men and women from other cultures. I'll just say that. Some black men, not all, definitely not all, but some. And I definitely, I said that, you know what, I had a conversation, we had a conversation about that with Scorpio Mo, and a lot of black men don't see it, but there is this difference between, I am a black woman that has a mouth that is, in times past, I have heard that I might have had a slick mouth. I admit that. I'm a writer. I'm gonna use words. I use them pretty well, but I have never been called spicy. I've been told I got a slick mouth. I've been told I got a smart ass mouth. I've never been called spicy. But when I have, like, my godson was married to a Hispanic girl, and I remember asking him, like, he was getting married, or I was like, why? He was like, she's spicy. And what it meant was she had a smart ass mouth, and she ended up cheating on him. I mean, it just but that never is really, it's always seen different. So I don't know why that is, but I also think we have to be honest about it and acknowledge that it's always called something different. It can be the same energy, but it is received differently, and it is not acknowledged to be a negative thing. In fact, spicy, when a woman that's not African American is called spicy, it means that she has a little bit of a flip mouth, but that's a sexually attractive thing. Like, ooh, she's spicy, muy caliente. Like, oh, it's a turn on. Now, I'll be honest, there are men that I think do like women that have a little bit of a slick mouth. I've had guys that be like, okay, she talking that talk. But so there are men that do appreciate that, and black women too, but it's still never seen as like sexy, and it's never referred to as spicy. It's always given a derogatory name. But when it comes to others, it's seen as like a sexually attractive trait. So we gonna call a spade, and Sada is spicy but has a bad attitude. I mean, it's the only reason it's called spicy because she's not black. So I'm just going to say it. It is. And you're right. Tammy says there's a very thin line with us. In fact, there is no line. Like at some point, you can't even, you don't even have to say anything. Things are just assumed because, God forbid, you have accomplished something. Things are just going to be assumed about who you are, and what you bring to the table or how you present is just going to be assumed. So it is very frustrating, but I also think we just have to call it what it is. And I think there are some black men that will be open to hearing that, because, like I said, I've never heard a black woman referred to as that. And I've been around so many black men that as soon as they see someone that's Hispanic or of a different ethnic background, they're like, ooh, she's spicy, and it's like, what is that? I mean, is it because she is, I don't know. I'm not sure. But in any case, I've experienced it, and I know what it is. I have never, and I don't know, Mo was saying it's because of the way they cook food. No, it ain't. No, it's not. It's not because of how they cook food. Because I remember it's about the way they can be, they have tempers, right? Or at least that's what the stereotype is. Not all of them. I have several good friends that are Hispanic and they're not like that, but that is the stereotype. But what my point is, it's a stereotype that's seen as something that's sexually attractive. It is a compliment, right? But with us, the smart mouth is not ever referred to as a positive thing. It is sometimes referred to as like maybe she's cool, but not like sexy, like a turn on, And I think you could be right. It's because they're not black, they're different. And so that makes them, in some cases, men give them a lot more grace, and actually not even giving them more grace, like assigning grace to them, like not even giving it to them, but assigning it to them before they even show up. Right. And so that's why shows like this can be a little frustrating and for those of us that are watching. But I do appreciate the fact that, again, we have men showing up as Thaddeus, and he's probably not perfect, but I still appreciate the example of manhood that he shows on this show. And I would say that even about Carlos. Now, we do see Carlos giddy. I don't know if anybody used to watch Married with Children, but I used to watch that show religiously when I was a kid. And Al Bundy would get just giddy when there was like a young, hot girl around. That is how Carlos is to me with Jennifer. He just, whenever she shows up, he has just got the biggest cheesy grin. He just is, he turns into a whole kid. And I think that is what's causing Janae to kind of show this really possessive side. Now, Janae is only 32. So, we got to give her, I didn't think she was that young, but 32 is extremely young. You know what I mean? And she's on this show. I think she likes Carlos. I think she assumed that she didn't have any competition, and Jennifer is giving her a run for her money. But Jennifer is definitely a better match with Tyson than she is with Carlos. Like, I'm surprised that Carlos can't see that. But maybe we don't see ourselves, maybe we see what we want. We don't see the truth. So, that could definitely be it. But anyway, next week, we see that there's some drama with Sada and Tyson. At least we believe it's with Sada and Tyson. We cannot see. Allegedly, there have been reports. I know that people have said that she previously dated R. Kelly, and maybe that's what he finds out. I don't know if that is going to be the case or not, but that's definitely something that we've heard that's been out in these social media streets for quite a while. Alexa says Jennifer is only 5 years younger than Carlos. It's not. It's not even that. It's not the actual years. It's the fact that, first of all, she comes off as more a complimentary comparative to Tyson, and I just don't think that she's as attractive. We know that she's not. She called him a green salad with salmon, and she called Tyson a juicy burger with all the fixings. So we don't even have to go back and forth about that. It doesn't matter what the age is. It matters how they show up. Tyson is older than everybody and does not show up as mature and does not read, as 54 at all. So, it's really about where that person's mental is, it's in reference to how mature they are. It's not about the actual age. It's about, how actually mature you are and how much work you've done on yourself. And if you haven't done any because you've been successful all your life, then you can get away with a lot more, as far as at what age dating R. Kelly, I'm not sure. But regardless of what age, I don't think it was an underage thing, because that would have been mentioned. It was just like that she was one of the people that he dated. He's dated a lot of people that people didn't know about. So you guys know that he used to date Portia from The Housewives? Like R. Kelly, I didn't read her book, but I do know that people that have read the book and done a review in the book reveal that she dated R. Kelly. That was like a dark time in her life. So there are a lot of people that have dated R. Kelly in the business, because he was a very successful man at one point, and that's pretty much all you have to be, is a rich, successful man, and you will have a lot of options. Hell, I think you could be an unsuccessful man and have a lot of options. But this is definitely going to be interesting. I think it shows that Sada is she just wants a celebrity. She wants the life, and she feels entitled to that because of her past. She's been on a reality show. She feels entitled to it. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out with Sada next week. It's going to be a good episode. So we're going to make sure that we're here and have a little extra time carved out. And then also what is going to happen with Dr. Kalia. Is she going to go off on Thaddeus? Because one thing I do know about Thaddeus, like, I think he's intrigued by powerful women, but I also think he ain't gonna take a lot of sassiness and a lot of anything that makes him feel like she's got an issue. I feel like he's trying to get what he likes physically, but also be smart about it, but also find someone that has substance, but he still has his likes and dislikes. And I don't think that he's going to take her going off on him the way I saw her going off on him in the commercial. That's just what I think. I could be wrong. I also think we need to do some more. We need to get rid of some more people because there's still too many women in this house that don't need to be there. Obviously, I think Catherine needs to go. I don't think that her king is there. I think that I hope that Sada goes because I think that for Tyson is going to have to be between Jennifer and Felicia. We need to narrow this thing down. And I think that Thaddeus is obviously between Ariel and Dr. Kalia, but I really think that Dr. Kalia is going to get rid of herself. That's a good point, Haitian. Was there a need to save Elder Wise? No. I think she should have went home. I was so shocked. That was the shocker of the night when Carlos did not send her home. I like her because I think that she is fun and has a good personality, but I don't think Carlos is attracted to her like that. And what are we doing? There was that scene where he said that he was open to getting to know her, even though, everybody keeps telling him that he seems like he's already made his choice with Janae, but it just didn't feel right. It felt like he was saying that because of production wanting him to say that. And it could be that they have a whole plan of when they want these people to go home, but I really think she should have went home then because I'm ready for us to get to the meat of it. Idlewise, that's an interesting name. But yeah, she did the little dance, a little I don't know, she's like a little mariachi did. I don't know, but it was interesting. It was interesting. We didn't see much from Ariel tonight except for the bodybuilder scene in the talent show. And was a flamingo down. I did not know what that was, but it looked like she was out there doing the thing like when they had the bulls run and the little Mater D guys out there. That's what it looked like. But Ariel and Dewana, whatever, the young lady that left that ended up leaving tonight, they came out and they're dressed as bodybuilders. And Thaddeus definitely was very excited about that. There she is. He was super excited about that, but not excited enough to keep her around or even talk to her or anything like that. So, yeah. I think Ariel did find out the friend was the ex, but Ariel's playing her position. I don't think she's as into Thaddeus as he's into her. I think that she's playing a game. I just don't, from her, I don't get a lot of genuine. I do think that Dr. Kalia is genuine, but I also think she's a little bit crazy. And maybe it's not the type of crazy that he's okay with. Everybody has a little crazy in them, right? You just have to figure out who's crazy you can deal with and what is the crazy that you are going to sign up for. So, I mean, everybody has issues. None of us are perfect. And if somebody has went to Stanford and Cornell, they know how to get what they want, but that ability to achieve and to climb and to be successful in the career world does not translate to men. You cannot use the same antics that you use to get your career off the ground to get your man, because it's a person. It's a person. It doesn't work like that. So, did the ex come across as a former WNBA player who finally found her true self? No, not to me. Not to me. Not to me. I didn't really look at her like that. I may have to sit with that for a minute. Let me sit with it and we'll talk about it next week. She definitely did not have any makeup on. And that's a very obvious, that's a very intentional choice because you're going to be on television, you're going to be around a lot of other women. I don't know, that is a very intentional choice, but I didn't get that. I just got that she was, realized that he was not into her anymore. And she was past that time of her life where she's trying to be like a girly girl. I don't necessarily get those vibes, but I do wonder what type of man, I mean, what type of woman pledges their life to helping a man? Like, it'd be very difficult for her to have a life of her own, taking care of someone's children that are not yours. I don't know what man would allow you to take care of another man's children that are not yours and take you seriously in a relationship. So, do you guys remember? I don't know who all watched the daters, oh my gosh, what was it? Michelle Obama show on Netflix with the older dater, the later daters, the later daters. So on the later daters, there was a guy named Nate, and he had a best friend that he used to be, that he actually had a child with. They were now best friends. And she was over there all the time, always helping him. And I remember thinking that that was so sad because I'm like, she's not going to ever find a man of her own because she's so busy in servitude to him, and he doesn't want her because he's not attracted to her. That's kind of how I felt about Thaddeus's best friend because I'm telling you, there is no, yeah, and Nate's chick did want him, but there is no man that's going to be okay with you being, you're not the biological mother, but you are his best friend and take care of his children that you met when you guys were together. That's just not, ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. In the words of Suge, what was the name? Brown Sugar? I don't know, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Ain't nobody got time for that. So she is not, I would think it would be very difficult for her to be in a relationship if that's what she has done. Pledged her life to being Thaddeus's nursemaid. It's kind of Sweet Brown. Yeah, Sweet Brown. Thank you, Hey there. In the words of Sweet Brown, ain't nobody got time for that. Being out here being a nursemaid to your children, and I don't have my own, and now I can't have my own life, and I can't find me my own man. No, 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 no. Sorry, I gotta let you go. You can hire a nanny for that. Get your sister, get your auntie, get somebody in your family to do that. He'll get their mama to be a part of that. Like maybe I would not do it, and I think that keeps you stuck. I think it keeps you stuck when you don't move forward. When a couple is together, they're married and they get divorced and you are just still stuck and connected to their children, it really does keep you stifled from being able to move on with your own life. I think I've never been in that situation ever, but I just would think that you have to always realize that even though you love those children and you may love that family. Like I missed my ex-husband's family because I was so close to them after being together for 13 years. However, after my divorce, they were not my family anymore. And, they moved on and I had to move on too. So I think you have to, that's one of the unfortunate things about marriage is that the people that are married are the core, right? And everyone else is around it. You can have family that you love and that you're connected to and that you see as a real family. But once that divorce happens, it tears that apart. And then that person is not really your family. Now, there are some couples that make it work and their mom is still cool, but it's very difficult. And I think it's very rare. I think at the end of the day, sometimes it's easy. It is necessary to let that go because I remember, just feeling so sad with missing my family. You're together for that long, you miss your family, but that was not my family no more. So I had to get over it. And I think that when you stay, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck. So if you're taking care of his children and it sounds like in his house and making sure the kids, kind of like a mom, being a stepmom, and he doesn't want you, I don't see how you're being able to really move forward with your own love life. Maybe you're in a place where you don't want one, but it's kind of telling. So I'm interested to hear more about that. I'm not sure what happened with Thaddeus' divorce, but I can take a gander. WWE star, comes from a very toxic background. Infidelity comes into play, of course, and that goes bad when you have a lot of money. So, it doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. A lot of money, a lot of access, toxic background. Ta-da! Bad divorce. So before I get out of here, let's rate that episode, King's Counsel. I am going to give King's Counsel an 8. I think it was a very good episode. They were divorced prior to WWE. Well, let me do a little research and we'll come back and talk about it next week. But even if they were divorced prior to WWE, the toxicity still stands and he had to be doing something to get to WWE. So we'll see, but I'll do some research. I'm going to give Sunday night's episode an 8. I think it was very good. I think it was okay. Well, he's playing arena football. Same difference. He got a lot of attention and access, and toxicity from the foundation. Never a good combination to have someone who has very, 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 very hurtful trauma in their upbringing, and then give them a lot of access and exposure. Molotov cocktail, boom. And then you put them in a relationship, and relationships are the one thing that shows you who you are. It gives you a mirror, and if you don't want to look at it, it's rough. They are. If you have some unresolved issues, relationships will bring them to the top. Bring them to the top like bubbles in carbonated soda. It's horrible. So I will do a little research and see what we can find out about that. But in the meantime, it looks like you guys agree with me. I see 9s, 8.5, 8s for the episode. I do think it was. I'm actually really enjoying King's Court. Again, I think it's way better than any of the Queen's Courts. So I am going to get ready to get out of here. I've got Fox in the morning, but I want to remind you guys, tomorrow we have the interview with Steph. That's going to be playing tomorrow night. I think we're going to do that like at 9. And then, of course, Wednesday, Scorpio Mode, I'll be back with Dating Diaries. And we have some really good questions and topics for that. So I want to encourage you guys to make the most of this week. It doesn't matter what is going on in your world. You have the ability to change it. And between you and God, you guys are the blueprint for the author of your story, your fairy tale life, which I believe we all can write our own happy endings. So I want to encourage you guys to do that as I encourage myself. So I love you all for watching. Like I said, tomorrow night, I'll be back at 9. And then Wednesday, Scorpio Mo and I'll be here for more shenanigans with the Dating Diaries. All right, you guys have a good night. I love you for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.